stop overcomplicating fat loss. So this is a video about meal planning and meal prepping, but it's also a video about setting goals and setting the bar way too high when you're trying to achieve anything. So oftentimes I find clients start and they come in their intake forms, they're like, I want to train 5 times a week and I want to do this and I'm going to try out all these new recipes and we're going to go absolutely bananas and we're going head first into this, and within 2 weeks they'd be burnt out if they did it all, right? Oh, and I'm going to have a step count of like 100k, and I'm like, all right, well, what have you been doing up to now? And they're like, oh, I've been doing about 5,000 steps a day and I haven't been training at all for 6 months. And I'm like, whoa, how about we just lower the bar a little bit here and maybe set some reasonably manageable goals here. So instead of saying you're going to train 5 times a week, coming off the back of having not trained for months, can we train 3 times a week? Instead of telling yourself you're going to have a step count of 100,000 a week, coming off the back of potentially just about doing 5,000 a day, can we maybe try and aim for about 8,000 steps a day? Because if you gradually build on things, you're going to improve what's called your self-efficacy and your actual belief that you can do this. But if you set the bar here, straight off the bat, coming from here, you might do it for a week, but then you're going to be burnt out within a week or 2. You're not going to want to do it anymore, and you're going to actually not believe that you can do it anymore. So my first piece of advice, especially coming up to September now when people want to start setting some new goals and getting into fitness and stuff again, is sit down and decide what you want to achieve, but also decide what's manageable for you. Now, what I actually wanted to talk about today was meal planning and meal prepping, and to be honest, this is more so for the people who hate batch cooking like myself, and also for the people who really don't have time to be experimenting with a million different recipes. So my first piece of advice: stop fucking thinking that you need to have all these different mad recipes in your cookbook in order to achieve fat loss. What you actually need to do is do this smarter. So work smarter, not harder, with training, with nutrition, with everything. But what this does involve, and what people don't actually really want to do, is spending a little bit of time at the weekend to get prepared for the week ahead. And I'm not talking about batch cooking here. What I'm actually sitting and telling you to do is to spend half an hour at the weekends just to figure out a couple of breakfast options, a couple of lunch options, and a couple of dinner options. The biggest misconception here is that you need to be eating something different every day. The reality of it is the people who are actually very successful at dieting, they don't have a massive range in what they're eating week on week. And I don't mean that to sound like it's really boring, but me personally, I have about 3 breakfast options that I go between at any given time, depending on the time of year. And it's not that I don't know other stuff, but it takes the decision fatigue out of it. I'm not sitting there every morning going, Jesus, I don't know what to make for breakfast. I know exactly what I'm going to have for breakfast. It's going to be one of these 3 options. So what I want you to do is I want you to sit down at the weekend, right? And I want you to get a piece of paper out and I want you to draw lines down the paper, right? 3 to 4 lines down the paper. And this is going to be your breakfast and lunch options for the coming week. And you're going to give yourself a couple of options, because the thing with batch cooking is people don't actually really know what they want to eat throughout the week, which is why batch cooking annoys people. But doing this and knowing that you have all the food in here and being prepared for it takes away the stress of the week, right? So I'm going to give you a couple of options here now. I'm not going to give you exact recipes, because the thing about it is you need to realize, if I told you exactly what I eat every day, it's why I have this beef with what I eat in a day. It doesn't matter. It means nothing to you, right? Because you're a different person. Your activity level is different. Your calorie targets are going to be different. So me telling you exactly what I eat every day is just counterproductive. And if you don't understand this and you're following these meal plans and following what these other people are telling you to eat in a day and you're not seeing results, that's why. You need to know your own specific calorie and macro targets, and that's different for everyone depending on a lot of different factors, right? So, a couple of breakfast options. Firstly, most people are not getting enough protein at breakfast, right? Bog standard, people just want to pick up something. They have toast, they have cereal, they have something like that, something that's quick. There's nothing wrong with cereal and there's nothing wrong with toast, right? But you need to be thinking, how can I incorporate what I want with having a little bit more protein? Why do we need more protein? Protein is important on a cellular level. Protein is important on a cellular level, but it is also important for making you feel fuller for longer. And why is that important? If you're in a dieting phase and you are trying to lose body fat, then you are trying to put yourself in a calorie deficit. Therefore, you need to increase your protein intake, which is going to help with hunger levels. Okay, so option 1 for breakfast, 0% Greek yogurt, right? You don't even have to get the fancy phage one. Get Aldi's version or Lidl's version. It's the exact same. So you get your protein yogurt. Bonus round, throw a scoop of protein into the yogurt, right? Now you have 2 fairly decent servings of protein there already. Then you go, how can I add some fruit to this? Whatever your fruit of choice is, maybe throw some berries in there, maybe throw a banana in there. And then just to top it off and make it taste really, really nice, get a 1 fibre bar, crunch it up and put it on the top. Right, there's breakfast option number 1. That takes approximately 90 seconds to prepare. There's your breakfast number 1. Breakfast number 2, oats, porridge, right? Especially in the winter, like we are starting to come into that weather now. Protein oats. Oats are great, but you're not getting enough protein from just a serving of oats. So how do I incorporate more protein? Either have your bowl of porridge with a protein shake, or overnight oats, put the protein in it, or make the oats, add a scoop of protein. That way you are getting your whole grain carbs, which are a slow release carb, and you're also getting your serving of protein in, which is going to keep you fuller for longer. Other option I love, protein smoothie. It's literally the fucking easiest thing to make. I made one this morning, it was glorious. Over 30 grams of protein. Like, try and get 2 portions of fruit in, right? Because if you can get 2 portions of fruit in at your breakfast, you only need 3 more portions and you've hit your 5 a day. And that's amazing, of fruit and veg. So like, say this morning I took 80 grams of mango, a small banana, 200 milliliters of either unsweetened almond milk or low-fat milk or skim milk or whatever your milk of choice is, and a scoop of protein. Now, if you're having a protein smoothie, chances are it's going to be only about 200 calories, right? So why not pair that with the toast that you actually wanted, okay? So I usually have toast with my protein smoothie. I'm getting whole grain carbs, I'm getting a good dollop of protein, because actually you're getting a little bit of protein in the brown bread as well. So that probably brings me up to about 40 grams of protein just at breakfast. They're my 3 breakfast options. And you will very rarely see me stray from any of them, because I'll mix and match the ingredients and I'll mix and match the flavors. But I know roughly how many calories is in all them, and I know I'm getting a good whack of protein. So I sit down, or you sit down and decide, what are my 3 breakfast options? I've given you examples there, and you write them down. And whether you're tracking calories or not tracking calories, you download MyFitnessPal just for this. If you're not tracking calories, and you figure out, if you were to do whatever amount of portion sizes, how many calories and how much protein is in each of them. And then you have it. There you go. Bang. Stick your breakfast on the wall. There are your options. And whether you're tracking calories or not tracking calories, you know how many calories and how much protein is in each of them. You do the exact same with lunch. Stop overcomplicating lunch. If you're someone who likes salads and stuff like that, I fucking hate salads. I hate lettuce. I despise lettuce and all salads. So like, this is not me. If you like salad, great. But how can you increase the protein? Can you get a packet of chicken and put it with your salad, right? Sandwiches. Stop demonizing sandwiches. Like, you can get your Be Good bread and have like a packet of chicken, instead of just sprinkling a bit of chicken and having loads of cheese and stuff like that on it. Whack it out and put loads of chicken on it, and then put a little bit of cheese on it. Okay, think smarter. And this is why I would say tracking calories just to figure out what's in these sandwiches is a great starting point, right? And then pack it out with whatever veg or whatever you kind of want to put on a sandwich, put it on. Soup. Have and soup. You're then getting whole grain carb. You're getting a good whack of protein with the filling of your sandwich. You're also getting a portion of vegetables then in your soup. Soup and a sandwich, salad, making sure you're getting enough protein, 2 lunch options already. Third lunch option, beans on toast. Now you need a little bit more protein if you're doing beans on toast, so can you have like some turkey rashers, turkey sausages, and Linda McCartney's vegetarian sausages, and put them with your beans on toast, and there's a lunch option number 3. There's 3 lunch options, all piss easy to make, take 5 minutes to make, and are not complicated, and you can buy all the stuff in the shop. I'm not going to get into dinner. You don't need me to explain to you. There's a million different things, but like, just think chicken pasta, stir fries, bologneses, all the things you usually have, right? But just be a little bit smarter with them. Instead of like, when you're structuring these meals, what you want to be thinking is, number 1, what is my protein source? And if you're having a chicken fillet, have a chicken fillet and a half, right? Then you're like, okay, can I make the carb source in this whole grain if possible, right? Brown pasta, brown rice. No one's gonna fucking die if you don't want brown pasta and rice and you want white. It's fine. I'm just saying, wherever possible, if you can opt for wholemeal or whole grain, it's just a slower release carb, okay? It's also got a bit more fiber in it. Then you go, okay, how do I add a portion of fruit and or veg to this? Or maybe can I add 2? Even better. My favorite thing to add to nearly everything is peas. So like, peas are actually great because in 100 grams of peas you also have like 5 grams of protein, and I just buy frozen peas, cook the peas, throw them in the pan, Bob's your uncle, there you go. And just try and pack this out with veg. You don't need me to give you dinner recipes. There's enough shit on TikTok and Facebook and all, right? And I also do have a recipe book coming out soon with the title of it is going to be The Shit Cook, because literally everything I cook takes 10 minutes and I am all for convenience. And the last thing I will say is, so you get your protein source, then you get your carb. If you can make it wholemeal or whole grain, fab. If not, no one's going to die if you eat some white pasta. And then you try and pack it out with fruit and veg, which is important for fiber. And then just make it tasty. Like, stock up on your squat rack, your spice rack. And you just make sure that you have loads of spices like that to add to everything and make it tasty. If you want to keep the calories a little bit lower, opt in for things like Fry Light and stuff like that. Or like if you're cooking, maybe you can cook in an OXO cube and stuff. Equally, yes, it is important though still to remember that incorporating healthy fats in our diet is still vital from a hormone standpoint and from a health standpoint. Fat is not bad, and fat is actually really important, but for the sake of this video, in fact it's nearly already 15 minutes, I'm not going to get that much into it. Sit down for half an hour at the weekend and figure out what is it you actually like to have for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Figure out the portion sizes, put it into MyFitnessPal just for that one time, and figure out, give yourself 4 or 5 dinners, but give yourself 3 breakfasts and lunches. Figure out the calories and the macros in them. Stick it on your wall in your kitchen so that every day you go and then you're busy, you're like, right, breakfast, that's it. And if I have this for breakfast and this for lunch and this for dinner, you know you're within your calorie target whether you're tracking calories or not. If you found this video helpful, feel free to give it a share. And my next client intake is going to be September. And we're going to be kicking off with a warm-up week of goal setting and intake forms and consultations, and I'm very excited. And yeah, if you want more information about coaching, just drop me a message, and have a fabulous week. Stop overcomplicating everything for yourself. It doesn't have to be so complicated.